All right. Today, boys and girls, we're going to be talking about length, area, and volume. We're going to be discussing the differences. Okay. So, in a moment, I want you to stop the video and tell me everything you know about length, everything you know about area, and everything you know about volume. Okay. So stop the video and write down everything you know about length, then everything you know about area, then everything we've been learning about volume. Okay. So go ahead and do that and then come back to me. Okay. All right. So length tells how wide, tall, or long something is. Finding the length requires one measurement. There's only one measurement, right? The length is one dimensional and is measured in linear units. So length, right? Here we go. Linear units. Okay. One measurement, one dimension. Okay. Area tells how much surface a figure covers. So finding an area of a rectangle requires two linear measurements. An area is two-dimensional and is measured in square units. Okay. Length, one dimension, one measurement. Area, two-dimensional, and two measurements, the length and the width. Remember to find area, it's length times width, and it's what's in the inside. So you want to know how much something is covered in the inside of something, okay? Volume tells how much space an object occupies. Finding the volume of a rectangular prism requires three measurements. Remember, we need the length, we need the width, and the height. And those are three-dimensional, right? The volume is used for three-dimensional, and we have three measurements for that. Okay, so volume, we need the length, the width, and the height. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be determining whether we need the length, the area, or the volume of something, and how many measurements it is. So write that down. Length, if you didn't write it down, make sure you write it down. Length has one measurement and it's one dimensional. Okay, if you need to, stop the video so you can write it down. Then also write down that area is, you need two measurements, two-dimensional, and it's in square units. Okay. Volume is for three-dimensional shapes. You need three measurements, and it's measured in cubic units. Okay. So length, just how long something is, wide or tall. Area, how much is being covered on a flat surface. Volume, how much is being covered in a 3D shape. Okay, three-dimensional shape. All right, so let's look at some examples. So how many measurements do you need to find volume? Stop the video and write it down. Okay, if you said you need three measurements on volume, you would be correct. We need three measurements. So three measurements to find volume. How many measurements do you need to find area? Stop the video and write it down. Okay, if you said two measurements, you would be correct. How many measurements do you need to find length? Okay, stop the video and write it down. Okay, if you said one, you would be correct. Okay, so keep that in mind when we talk about the next few problems. Okay, so now, what measurement do you need and how many measurements do you need? So the first problem says, how much water is in a swimming pool? So which measurement? Are you using length? Are you using area? Or are you using volume? Which one of those three are you using? Okay, length? No, that would just be if I wanted how long it is. Area? would just cover like the top of it. So what measurement do I need? If you said volume, you are correct. And how many measurements would you need to find the volume of a swimming pool? If you said 3, you are correct. Okay. What about how tall you are? Would you use length? Would you use area? Or would you use volume? Okay. Which one of those would you use? Okay. If you said length, you are correct. We would use length. Okay. If you said length and one measurement, you are right, right? How tall you are, just the length with one measurement. Okay. Let's move on. All right. So what measurements do you need and how many measurements do you need? How much carpet is needed for a floor? Are you going to use length? Are you going to use area? Or are you going to use volume? Okay. How much carpet is needed for a floor? So length would just be one, right? One, but you need all of it. So if we need all of it, we need area. And then how many measurements do you need for area? Okay, if you said 2, you are correct. You need the length and the width. Okay. How far it is from the doorknob to the floor. So from the doorknob to the floor, how many measurements do you need? If you said 1, you are correct. What measurement would you use? You would use length. If you said length, you are correct. All right. All right, what measurements do you need and how many measurements do you need? How much sand is in a sandbox? Would it be length? Would it be area? Or is it volume? Okay, so stop and think about it. Write it down. Okay, if you said volume, you are correct because I want to know how much sand is in the sandbox. I need to know how much space it's occupying, and you would need 3 measurements. Okay. How much wallpaper is needed for a wall? Would it just be the length? Would it be area? Or would it be volume, a 3D shape? So a wall is flat. How much paper I need? It's not just length, it would just be one measurement. I need to know all of it. So I would need what? What would I need? Stop and write it down. All right, if you said area and you need 2 measurements, you are correct. Think about it, when you are doing a wall, you're just not doing one part of the wall, you want all of the wall, right? So you want area. Okay. Next one. Which measurement do you need and how many measurements do you need? How long a string is, okay? So pause the video and write it down and then come back to me. Okay, if you said length with one measurement, you would be correct. How much space is there inside a refrigerator? Okay, do that one. Tell me which measurement you would use and how many measurements do you need. Pause the video and then come back. All right, if you said volume and 3 measurements, you're correct because I'm looking for the space that's inside. So how much space is inside, okay? All right, now we're gonna start some word problems. Okay, our first word problem reads, Asher has a storage box. The box is 6.5 inches long, 4 3/4 inches wide, and 7 inches tall. He wants to run a border around the top of the box. How much border does he need? Okay, so stop and pause the video and try to figure out, what are they asking me for? Are they asking me for a length? Are they asking me for area? Or are they asking me for volume? Okay, stop the video and see what you think and then come back. All right, so some of you might have thought that it was volume because you see three measurements. You see 6.5 inches long, 4 3/4 inches wide, and 7 inches tall. So you just think, oh, I'm just going to multiply them all. But make sure you read the question carefully, because the question says he wants to run a border around the top of the box. So he wants to run a border around the top of the box. So it's not asking me how much space or how much is taken up inside. So it's not asking me for that. That's volume. It's not asking me for that. It's asking me, he wants to run a board around the top of it. So just the border around the top. It's not asking me to fill all of it. That would be area. So it must be length, right? So how much runs around the top? So length, if I'm using length, what would I be looking for? Okay, if you said perimeter, you'd be correct. I'm looking for the perimeter, okay? So if I know this is 4 3/4, this is parallel to this line, so I know that this line here is also 4 3/4, and it's also parallel to here, so this is also 4 3/4. So this line is 4 3/4, and this line is 4 3/4. Now, 6.5 is this line. Let me use a different color so you can see it. So if this line is 6.5, then this line is 6.5. Then this line is 6.5. So I'm going to write 6.5 here so you can see it. So that one's 6.5. That one's 4 3/4. That one's 4 3/4. Let me label that one 4 3/4. It may not be the exact same color. Ooh, I got it right. 4 3/4. So they were trying to confuse you by putting the 7 inches tall. Do I need the 7 inches? No, I don't need them. I just need to know how much border I need to go around. So in order to find the perimeter, what do I got to do? That's right, I got to add. So I got to add 6.5 plus 6.5, 4 3/4 plus 4 3/4. So go ahead and do that and then come back to me for the answer. Okay, if you came up with 22.5 inches of border, you are correct. So I did 6.5 plus 6.5. A half plus a half gives me 2/2, which is a whole. 6 plus 6 is 12, so 12 plus 1 is 13. And then I did 4 3/4 plus 4 3/4. That gave me 8 6/4. And 6/4 turns into 1.5, so that gives me 9 2/4, which is 9.5. Then I added 9.5 plus 13, and it gave me 22.5 inches. Okay? So don't let it confuse you. Just because you see three measurements doesn't mean I want volume. You have to really read it to see what they are asking for. All right, our next word problem. The refrigerator is 5 2/3 feet tall, 5 2/3 feet tall, and 2 2/7 feet wide, and 2 1/4 feet deep. So that's my width. How much space does a refrigerator take up on the floor? So, what do you think we have to do on this one? How much space does a refrigerator take up on the floor? So, are they asking me for length, area, or volume? So again, I see three measurements. It's 5 2/3 feet tall, 2 2/7 feet wide, and 2 1/4 feet deep. How much space does a refrigerator take up on the floor? So what do you think they're asking for? Yep, if you said area, you are correct, right? Because how much space just on the floor? So do I need to know how tall it is? No. So I do not need the 5 2/3 feet tall. That doesn't matter because I just want area, and area is length times width. So feet wide and 2 feet deep, which is my other measurement. I don't need the tallness, remember, because area is just length times width. So in order to find area, it's length times width. So I need to multiply 2 and 2/7 times 2 and a quarter. Okay, so go ahead and multiply 2 and 2/7 times 2 and 1/4 and see what you get. See if you remember how to do that, and then come back to me. Okay, if you got 5 and 1/7 square feet, you'd be correct. So I took 2 and 2/7 and I multiplied it by 2 and 1/4. Remember, I got to turn this into, it's a mixed number. I got to turn it into improper fraction. So I multiply 2 times 7 times 2, which is 14, and then I add the 2, which is 16/7. Do the same thing to this one. I got to multiply 2 times 4, which gives me 8, plus the 1 gives me 9/4. I simplified. You could have multiplied 16 times 9 and then 7 times 4, and then have to do that long division, but I'd rather simplify. So I did 4. I switched my denominators around. I said 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 goes into 4 1 time. Much simpler. 4 times 9 is 36. 7 times 1 is 7. I got 36/7, which is the same thing as 36 divided by 7. So then I did 36 divided by 7 over here. And I got 7 goes into 36 5 times. 7 times 5 is 35. 36 take away 35 is 1. 5 and 1/7 square feet is how much floor space it's going to take up. Okay. Okay, let's look at our next word problem. Gabrielle built a planter in the shape of a rectangular prism that is 6 feet wide, 3 feet deep, and 2 feet tall. How much soil will be needed to fill it? So are they asking me to find the perimeter? Are they asking me to find the area? Or are they asking me to find the volume? So try to figure that out. What are they asking me for? Okay. Okay, if you said volume, you are correct because they're saying how much soil will be needed to fill it. So I need to completely fill it. So go ahead and do that one, then come back to me. Okay, so I did volume equals length times width times height. Now this one's kind of tricky because they don't directly tell us a length, okay? But I know it says 6 feet wide, so I put that under my width. 3 feet deep, maybe they're talking about my length. And 2 feet tall, so I put under my height. So really, it doesn't really matter. They're just using the words a little bit different, but it means the same thing. And then another reason why I know it's volume is because they say a rectangular prism. So how much soil will be needed. So I also know that it's volume. So they're just a little bit of wording, a little bit different. So don't let that throw you off. Then multiplied 3 times 2, which is 6, and multiplied by the other 6 and gave me 36 cubic feet. Or you could have done, 3 times 6 is 18, times 2 is 36, or 6 times 2 is 12, times 3 is 36. Just a different way of doing it, okay? Okay, let's look at our next problem. The next problem says, Melissa is stacking storage cubes in a crate, okay? The bottom of the crate is 8 inches by 12 inches. So the bottom is 8 by 12, the bottom of the crate, okay? The volume of the crate is 768 cubic inches, okay? If a storage cube has a length of 4 inches, how many storage cubes will fit in the crate? So this one's a little bit more puzzling, right? But we can figure this out. So she's stacking storage cubes in a crate. The bottom of the crate is 8 inches by 12 inches, okay? The volume of the crate is 768 cubic inches. So that's how much fits in the inside, 768 cubic inches. If a storage cube has a length of 4 inches, how many storage cubes will fit in the crate? How many are going to fit in the crate? So stop the video and see if you can try to figure out how to do this one. Okay, so did you think you figured it out? Okay, so if you got 12 storage cubes, you'd be correct. If you didn't, work this with me and I will explain it, okay? So I know the bottom of the crate is 8 by 12 inches. So I know the bottom is 8 by 12, okay? And the volume is 768. So what am I missing? Yes, I'm missing the height, right? So I need to find the height. So that's the first thing that I did. So I did 12 times 8. So 12 times 8, and that gave me 96. Okay, that gave me 96. But I know the volume is 768. So 96 times what is going to give me 768? Well, I'm not quite sure, so I'm going to divide. So let's divide that out. Okay, so I did 768 divided by 96. I tried 5 first, and I got 480, so I knew that wasn't enough. So then I tried 7. I got 872. No, 672. Sorry, I can't even read my own writing. So I know that wasn't enough. So then I tried 8, and I did 96 times 8, and I got 768. So then so I went 8 times. So I know that my height is 8 inches. Okay. So I'm not done yet. They weren't asking me for the height, were they? So they're asking me how many storage cubes will fit in the crate. Okay. So I'm going to erase some of this so that I know, so I can show you my work. So I know that the height is 8 inches. So that I do need. I need my height is 8 inches. Okay. Okay. So I erased some of the work. And now I know. So I can't really draw a 3D shape here. I apologize, but I'm going to try my best. So the bottom of the crate is 8 by 12 inches. So I drew a bigger side that's 12, a smaller side that's 8. So I did an 8 by 12. So draw a rectangle and make the longer side 12 and make the shorter side 8. Okay. Now it says if a storage cube has a length of 4 inches, how many storage cubes will fit in the crate? So if it's 4 inches, so if this is 8, how many 4s go into 8? 2. You're right. So I'm going to draw a line here to separate out one storage cube here, one storage cube here. But now I have 12. So let me draw that a different color. So 12, I got to think, 12, how many 12s, how many 4s go into 12? 3. So I got to break this up into 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far I have 6 cubes, right? But my height, I found out my height was 8 inches. So this is only 4. So it would go up 4. So what do I need to get up to 8? I need another stack, right? So I would need to stack some more cubes on top of this stack. So that means I would need another layer. I can't really draw them on top, so I apologize that I can't really draw them on top, but oh, and it's not quite the same length. But let's pretend these were the exact same. And then I would just simply take these and stack them right on top, because one's 4 up high. So if I have stack another one on top, 4 and 4 makes 8. So then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then my second layer, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I would need 12 cubes. I would need 12 storage cubes in order to solve, that's my answer. I would need 12 storage cubes that would fit in the crate. All right, ready for our last word problem. So Reed has a lawn mowing service and charges $1 for mowing 15 square yards of lawn. On Saturday, he mows 5 lawns that are each 21 and 3/4 yards by 27 yards. How much money does he earn on Saturday? Okay, so this one I'm going to walk you through it step by step. If you think you know how to solve it, go ahead and stop the video and solve it. But this one, I do have to say, takes a lot of steps to figure out. Okay, so he has a lawn mowing service and charges $1 for mowing 15 square yards of lawn. On Saturday, he mows 5 lawns that are each 21 and 3/4 yards by 27 yards. So first I got to figure out, are they asking me to find the length of something? Are they asking me to find the area? Are they asking me to find the volume? Okay. So first of all, I know I'm talking about a lawn. So if we're talking about a lawn, I know that it's not going to be just length, and I know it's not going to be volume because they're asking me for mowing. If you're mowing, just going straight across, right? So I know that they're asking me for the area. So the first thing I got to find out is the area for one lawn. Okay. So on Saturday, he mows 5 lawns that are each 21 and 3/4 by 27. So I got to find out how much the area of one lawn is and then the 5 lawns. So let's start with that. So I know I need to multiply 21 and 3/4 by 27. So go ahead and stop the video and do that and then come back to me. All right. So I wrote my equation. 21 and 3/4 times 27 over 1. Okay, so I multiplied 4 times 21 and I got 84 plus 3 makes 87 over 4 times 27 over 1. 4 does not go into 87 and 4 does not go into 27, so I can't simplify. So I got to do it the long way. So I got to multiply 87 times 27. So I did that on the side over here. 87 times 27. 7 times 7 is 49. Carry my 4. 8 times 7 is 56, plus my 4 is 60. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Got to put my 0. 2 times 7 is 14. Carry my 1. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17. Got it added up. 9 plus 0 is 9. 0 plus 4 is 4. 7 plus 6 is 13. Carry my 1. 20 makes it a 2. So I get 2,349 divided by 4. So now I got to do that. So I'm going to erase the work over here so I can do 2,349 divided by 4. Okay, so I did that here on the side. So I got 2,349 divided by 4. 4 can't go into 2, but it goes into 23. So that went in 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20. 3 take away 0 is 3. Okay. 3 is less than 4. I can bring down my 4. 4 goes into 34. 8 times. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 take away 2 is 2. 3 take away 3 is 0. 2 is less than 4. I did that right. I can bring down my 9. 4 goes into 28 7 times. 4 times 7 is 28. Leaves me 1 left over. So it leaves me with 587 and 1/4. Okay. Now that's for one lawn. Okay. That's the area of one lawn. But I have 5 lawns to do. So guess what? Yeah, I got to take this 587 and 1/4 and multiply that by 5. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to erase some of this work and then I'll show you the work. So you do it, stop the video, multiply 587 and 1/4 times 5 and see what you get. All right, so let me show you some of the work that I've done because I'm running out of space. So I did 587 and 1/4. Okay. I got to turn this into a improper fraction, right? So I did 587 times 4. I did this over here. 4 times 7 is 28. Carry my 2. 4 times 8 is 32. Plus 2 is 34. Carry my 3. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 3 is 23. So I got, and then I got to add the 1. So that gives me 2,349 over 4 times 5 over 1. So now I need to, okay, so I can't simplify this. So I have to, 4 doesn't go into 5, and then 1, that's not going to do me any good. So I just needed to multiply 2,349 times 5. I did that over here. So 2,349, multiplied it by 5. 9 times 5 is 45. Carry my 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 4 is 24. Carry my 2. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 2 is 17. Carry my 1. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. So I got 11,745 divided by 4. Now I need to do that step. So that's what I'm telling you, that I needed to erase some of this work. So now I'm at 11,745 divided by 4. So go ahead and do that and then come back to me. Okay, so I did that on the side over here. I did 11,745 divided by 4. 4 goes into 11 2 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 11 take away 8 is 3. 3 is less than 4. Bring down my 7. 4 goes into 37 9 times, because 4 times 9 is 36. So subtract my 36. 7 take away 6 is 1. 1 is less than 4, so I can keep going. 4 goes out, bring down my 4. 4 goes into 14 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. 14 take away 12 is 2. 2 is less than 4. I can bring down my 5. 4 goes into 25 6 times. 4 times 6 is 24. 25 minus 24 is 1. Leaves me with 2,936 and 1/4. So that's how much square footage I have with all 5 of the lawns. So mowing all 5 of the lawns, Reed is mowing 2,936 and 1/4 of lawns, square feet of lawns. Okay. But am I done? No, I'm not done. I know. This is a long problem, boys and girls. So now I just have how much he has to mow. But now I need to know, how much money does he earn? So he earns $1 for every 15 square yards. For every 15 square yards, he earns $1. So for every 15, he earns 1. So what do you think I have to do? Yep, if you said division, you're right. So I got to divide this into 15s and see what I get. So let's do that next. I'm going to erase some of this work because I'm running out of room. Okay, so this is what we have so far. 2,936 and 1/4 divided by 15, or 15 over 1. Okay, so first I got to figure what this is. So I got to multiply 2,936 times 4. I did this here. I got 6 times 4 is 24, carry my 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, carry my 1. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 1 is 37, carry my 3. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So I wrote it plus the 1, right? So it gives me 11,745 over 4. And when we're doing division, you keep, you switch, and you flip. Keep, switch, flip. Remember that? So 1174, switch. So I'm going to switch it to multiplication. I'm going to flip the 15 over 1 to 1/15. Now I got to multiply 1,745 times 1. Well, that's easy. That's 11,745. It's the same thing. Then I got to do 15 times 4. Well, I did 15 times 4 over here. 15 times 4, 4 times 5 is 20. Carry my 2. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 60. So now I have 11,745 over 60, which is the same thing as 11,745 divided by 60. Okay. So now we have to, yep, guess what? We got to do that. We're almost there. Hang in there. Okay. So go ahead and do 11,745 divided by 60 and come back to me and see what you get. I'm going to erase some of my work here. All right. So I wrote my problem over here, 11,745 divided by 60. Okay. So 60 does not go into an 11. So I got to do 117. So 6 times 2 is 12. That'd be too much. So it goes in one time. So I subtract 60. 7 take away 0 is 7. 11 take away 6 is 5, 57. That's smaller than 60. Yes. So I did it right. So I got to bring down my 4. 6 times 9 is 54. So that's close to 57. So I'm going to do it 9 times 54. 7 take away 4 is 3. So I did that. Bring down my 4. Oh, I think I messed up somewhere here. Let's see, when I was trying to explain it. So let me see. So 60 here leaves me with 7. Bring down the 4. Oh, right here. So it should have been 34. Sorry. So it's 34. So 34 is less than 60. So I can bring down my 5. 60 goes into 345 5 times. So 60 times 5 is 30. So it's 300. So that leaves me with 45, 45 less than 60, yes. But remember, I'm dealing with money. So even though I'm done here with the digits, what do? I add a decimal, bring the decimal up, add a 0, because remember, I can add as many zeros as I want. I'm dealing with money, so I can't stop. I got to get a whole number. Okay, so I'm going to add a 0, bring it down. 6 goes into 457 times. 6 times 7 is 42. 450 minus 42 gives me 30. Bring down another 0, and that gives me 300. 6 times 5 is 300. 300 minus 300 is 0. So it gives me $195.75 is how much money he's going to earn on Saturday. Whew, we're finally done with that one. And thank goodness it's our last one, right? So we ended up in a high note. Okay, so we're done with math for today. So today we learned whether we needed to find a length, to find the perimeter, whether we needed an area, two measurements for area. This was an example of an area problem, but a little bit, more complicated, or whether it was volume. And if it was volume, remember, we needed 3 measurements for volume. Okay, 3 measurements for volume for the space inside. All right, so we are done. And after this long problem, I think you deserve a break, right? So go take a brain break because this was a long one.